It goes without saying that Breaking Bad is one of the best and most iconic TV shows of all time, according to every single rating website known to man. And approximately half the world's population has already analyzed every single frame and syllable of the series, so I'm not doing that. This is also not a negative review of the series or anything of the sort. My complaint stems from how good this series is. With Breaking Bad, I had never seen a TV show so gripping, tense, well-acted, and frankly, fascinating. I have yet to see anything that compares, at least in live-action television. The performances and chemistry of Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul, as well as all of the supporting cast, create such a powerful and engaging atmosphere that can carry any scene, even in the moments when the writing is kinda goofy or the directing is just fine. It also astounds me that in this dark, heavy, intense crime drama, there are intentional moments of comedy seamlessly woven in that don't detract from but elevate the series into a bizarre masterpiece. With time constraints, actor scheduling, rewrites, casting, editing, and all other aspects of production, it is unheard of for everything to go right in the production of a TV series. And yet this is the impossible example. Breaking Bad was too good. So good that I couldn't stomach live-action television after watching the finale. I attempted watching other popular AMC shows like Hell on Wheels and The Walking Dead, along with similar dramas from different stations like Dexter, Sons of Anarchy, and Fargo. Nothing compared. It all seemed to fall flat, like I had witnessed the pinnacle of television. So I started watching anime. Getting into anime was refreshing because it was so vastly different from standard live-action Western television, obviously. But the thing I enjoyed the most about it were the wholesome and positive undertones that are very common in the medium. No matter how dark a situation became, it rarely felt mean-spirited. I understand not all Western television is harsh like the shows I listed before, but even in comedies, there always seemed to be an underlying mean-spirited vibe, and it may come down to cultures. Breaking down the influences of a country's culture on the media they produce is a whole heap and heckload of headache I don't want to get into with this video. But I do believe the reason why there is this kind nature to a majority of Japanese animated and video game media stems from something within the culture of Japan itself, and would explain why it's so lacking in the West. This is what brings us to Steven Universe. Steven Universe is another very popular show for very different reasons. Unlike Breaking Bad, Steven Universe is an animated series with wholesome and positive messages, a light tone, kind of, bright colors, and even musical segments. It may be the polar opposite of Breaking Bad, and yet it is on the same level. When I started watching Steven Universe, I didn't really like it. I thought it was another basic episodic children's show with a protagonist that was frustrating to watch because he kept fucking everything up as an excuse for conflict. And that is how it starts. The weakest part of the series is the first third of season 1, because its goal is basically to introduce characters and concepts that will be important later. I originally dropped the show near the beginning, but then saw one episode from the end of season 1 out of context, and it helped me see the trajectory of the series. That is how the show hooked me. That episode is called Jailbreak. When I rewatch this show, I have to grit my teeth through some of the early episodes, but it's worth it. Steven Universe is anything but basic. It is deceivingly non-episodic, and Steven is the source of conflict in many of the early episodes, but he learns from his mistakes and never makes them again. He changes. Change is inevitable, in general, but also in competent television. No story can survive without it. It is a necessity for progression. Rebecca Sugar and the writers of Steven Universe understand this better than most anyone else in television. The concept of change is the theme of the series. There isn't a single episode of Steven Universe that doesn't have some sort of plot or character development that has an effect on the established world. These developments stack up throughout the series and can be significant enough where skipping a couple episodes could leave you lost because you don't know why character is acting a certain way, you don't know who the character is, or you don't know what's happening at all. This is what I mean by the series is deceivingly non-episodic. Sure, a toddler will just like the colors and clap its feet together when someone gets hurt, but for a thinking human, there would be some kind of noticeable disconnect that wouldn't sit right when skipping a few episodes. And hey, maybe I'm a sucker for change, because it's also a major theme in Breaking Bad. I mean shit, it's blatantly stated in the first episode.
Chemistry is the study of matter, but I prefer to see it as the study of change.
But where this describes Walter's dissension into a scumbag crime kingpin, The change Steven experiences is the opposite. Steven's change elevates him to become someone better. Someone who helps people. Someone to be relied upon. A hero. Steven's journey in becoming a hero involves more than just defeating bad guys. It more so involves understanding. Understanding what is right, understanding others, friends and foes alike, and especially understanding himself. This growth can be seen through Steven's development of his powers. These powers and magic in Steven Universe can be seen as metaphors. There are more obvious ones like Steven's shield that symbolizes his desire for pacifism and to protect others, and less clear ones like fusion, which symbolize relationships in general. The messages these metaphors carry are incredibly potent as well. The messages cover important developmental concepts like self-identity, self-worth, healthy and unhealthy relationships, trauma, mental illness, death, war, and much more. It even actively challenges standard ideals presented by typical television and Hollywood productions. These things aren't normally portrayed very well in popular media, if portrayed at all, yet Steven Universe kills it. The metaphors used help drive home complex topics and messages in an easy-to-understand way. It is exactly why metaphors exist in the first place. I'm astonished by how powerful this show is, and it's intended for kids. A major way these metaphors and powerful moments shine through is in the music. The music in Steven Universe is so interesting. If there's a song in an early episode, it is usually 10 to 30 seconds long and just a quick little gag or something. But as the series progresses, the music becomes more complex and the songs longer, with them being a substantial point of character growth. You can hear Rebecca Sugar improving her musical abilities. The music later in the series is nothing short of incredible. The catchy songs without heavy repetition, the amount of thought put into the lyrics, the clear inspiration from old Broadway and jazz standards, the use of complex harmonies and progressions to guide the audience through the exact emotional states conveyed by the characters. It's marvelous. The music is a huge reason why people, including me, love this show. It's precisely what the show needs, and by golly, does it pack a punch. Mature narrative is a term I hear floating around a lot lately. It's a term normally used to describe a novel, movie, or show that involves adult content, aka sex, killing, violence, cursing, etc. These concepts are all very shallow though, and the only reason they're considered mature is because we believe them to be inappropriate for the youth. I don't find anything mature in bonking a guy on the head and saying fuck. True maturity comes from understanding. Understanding yourself, your position, where you come from, empathy, emotional control. Rarely are these things covered in mature narratives. Steven Universe is the most mature piece of media I've ever seen. I didn't talk much about Breaking Bad because you've seen it, or have been told to watch it. I still believe it's peak television. I gushed this much about Steven Universe because it is, at the end of the day, a children's show. And that will deter most people. More accurately, it's a show for everyone, and everyone should give it a chance. I know not everyone will like it, and I understand that. After finishing Breaking Bad, I had to move to a different medium entirely, because nothing could stand up. Now that medium has been ruined because no matter what animated show I watch, I would rather watch Steven Universe. Peace.